South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Bonnie Moody.
I'm Bonang Matiba. We are live right here on SABC3. Another brand new week. Thank you so much for joining us. It is a motivational Monday, and today on the show, we're going to be focusing on healthy hearts.
Yes, something we don't often talk about.
Absolutely.
We're also joined by media personality Mark Pilgrim, who's survived a heart attack and is now the ambassador of the Heart and Stroke Foundation in South Africa. We also speak to another inspiring gentleman who's had a heart transplant and now competes in a sport specifically for people who've had heart transplants. So we've got a lot.
That is incredible. We're also going to be giving you some practical tips on how to exercise, how to eat. So by the end of the episode today, all of us are going to have healthier, happier hearts. But do remember, we are live. Love hearing from you. Interact with us right now on Twitter at Afternoon Chat and use our official hashtag Afternoon Express. More than welcome to dial in and chat to any one of our guests if you have any questions. But it's not just Bone Bizzle and Queen Dizzle.
Somebody who makes our hearts happy.
Yeah. Hey, Jay Dizzle.
Hello, ladies. And I'm always so happy when the Trinity is together. My heart is certainly very happy today. Welcome to you. It is such a gorgeous Monday because I also know that later on today I'm going to be breathing in the same oxygen as Pharrell Williams. I'm the most excited little girl on the planet. But we also have everybody's favorite chef and food stylist, Claire and Stanley. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today you are going to be making us a hearty roast pot chicken.
Quite possibly my simplest, healthiest meal ever. It is super simple and delicious.
Good, because last week I think you gave us so much sugar. Now you've got to give us some of that
balance it out. It's all about
hearty
balance.
chicken. And of course, a little bit later, we have somebody from the Heart and Stroke Foundation who's going to be teaching us how to make a hearty, healthy salad. And remember, you can cook with us. All you need to do is visit our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and get our shopping list and cook with us while we cook with you this afternoon. So happy Monday. First on the couch, though, we have Bonang with our first guest.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. Definitely our first guest is a man that I love and respect so much. With 20 years of experience in the media industry, he's easily one of South Africa's most recognizable voices on radio and, of course, faces on TV. But in 2008, at the age of 40, while living in a healthy and fit lifestyle, he suffered from a sudden heart attack and was admitted to hospital. Since surviving the ordeal, he has become an ambassador for the Heart and Stroke Foundation, of course, raising awareness that heart afflictions are not reserved only for the old and unhealthy. So listen very carefully this afternoon. Joining us on the couch is media personality Mark Pilgrim. Lovely to have you in the loft.
I'm so happy to be with the girls. I'm happy.
Know, lovely to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Wow, I always hear your voice on radio. And it's now lovely to, you know, sit beside you and ask you.
Does it sound like you're about to win a car?
Yes, it does. It does.
Well done.
All right, Mark. I mean, today's Motivational Monday. It is, of course, a very serious topic. But I want us to track back to 2008, at the age of 40.
38.
38.
You're making me 2 years older than I am.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. But you were living. You know what's? Everyone thought it was a healthy, fit lifestyle. And I mean, there are a lot of factors, obviously, that go into play that cause a heart attack. But can you tell me about your experience?
I think I'm living proof that a lot of people say it won't happen to me. I was that guy. It can't happen to me because I'm healthy. I go to gym, I eat well. So why did I suddenly have a heart attack? And I just started filming a new television show. And I remember standing in front of the audience and I suddenly felt a pain in my chest. And I thought, this is a little weird. Why do I have a pain in my chest? And one of the biggest mistakes I made is that I didn't know where my heart was. So I'm going to put you to the test right now. Take your right hand. And to the guys at home, I want you to do this as well.
Let's do this.
Take your right hand and put it over your heart right now. You're a little bit wrong.
Really?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's just off center, just sitting over here. And it's a common mistake because I had my pain here and I thought, oh my goodness, what's wrong? But thank heavens it's not my heart. We watch movies where they pledge allegiance and everyone thinks their heart is tucked under the boobie.
Yeah.
But it's not. So that was one of the first mistakes I made. And I think a lot of people don't really know where their heart is. So when they have the pain, they go, well, it's not my heart. I then went to the doctor a few days later because this pain kept recurring. And while I was in the doctor's office staring at the doctor, I had the heart attack. It's a good place to be if you're going to have a heart attack.
Oh, yes.
You know,
absolutely.
There was a little angel looking over my shoulder that day.
Did it alter your lifestyle, your psychologically, in terms of health and fitness? Did it have an effect on you?
You see, for a lot of people, it is about a lifestyle change. I didn't have to change my lifestyle because I was eating well, I was training well. Mine was genetic. I've got a family history of heart disease. I was hardwired in a way more prone to have a heart attack. So it's really important that you know your numbers, you get your cholesterol checked, but you also know your family history. Because if you have a history of heart disease, the numbers mean even more. And that's why it caught me unaware. So within 3 weeks of taking tablets, my cholesterol had dropped by half.
Wow.
But I was rushed to emergency and had an operation. I've got about 10% of my heart that doesn't beat. Wow. So it's not dead tissue, there's blood in it, but it's lost its ability to pulse.
Blood, all right. Now let's talk about your role as an ambassador for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. What does it mean to you? What do you do every day as an ambassador for such an incredible initiative? It's
about using the platform that you've got. One of the reasons why I'm here right now is to be able to tell people that it can happen to you, but there's also, very importantly, ways to try and prevent it. So even with cancer as well, I always say to people, early detection can save your life. So if you haven't gone to have your cholesterol numbers checked, it's time to do it now. You should be doing it at least once a year. So I use my platform to try and let people be aware that they need to go have it checked. And a lot of people always go, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Right. The intention's there, but they don't do it. I always say it's kind of ruthless, but I say, you know what, if you die, you're gone. But it's your family that will mourn you for the rest of their lives. So if you don't want to do it for yourself right now, do it for your family.
And you mentioned cancer, and you survived cancer as well at the age of 18. You are quite the survivor, Mark.
If I was a kid, I'd have 7 lives left.
Yes. And I mean, did that have an effect as well? I mean, you know, surviving cancer and then later on in life, you know, surviving a heart attack?
I think psychologically it wasn't as traumatic having the heart attack because I'd had that life-threatening illness once before and gone through the whole why me and oh my goodness, I almost wasn't here. For me, after the heart attack, I was just happy to be alive. This is bonus time I'm in. Yeah. And subsequent to the heart attack, my 2 girls were born, and every day I look at my girls and think, what a blessing that I'm around and that they're around, because they wouldn't be around if I had died that day.
Absolutely. And obviously your girls and your family, and they're on screen right now, you are obviously monitoring their meals, their exercise regimes, obviously trying to live this healthy heart lifestyle. You're obviously starting them at a very young age.
Look, I'm a normal dad. Look, they love mac and cheese, and that's okay. You know, kids love sweets. I'm not going to deny them sweets, but we do possibly watch it a little bit more than we would have otherwise, but look, they're normal kids and they'll eat rubbish, and it's okay.
Yeah, we've got so many questions, and I'm sure everybody at home has so many questions for you, but if you're watching right now and you want to ask anything at all, tweet us right now at Afternoon Chat. Mark is still going to be here. A little bit later, we're going to be giving you tips on how you can live a healthy lifestyle, right? After the break, Jeannie makes us a roast chicken, and we carry on our conversation about Heart Month on the couch. We'll be right back.
Fresh Pack. Goodness comes naturally.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on this motivational Monday. And I know that my mom is going to be watching this and being so proud because finally I'm going to learn how to make a roast pot chicken. Claire, how do we get started?
And it's a very, very simple one. It literally involves nothing besides putting it in a pot and into the oven.
Yeah.
Super, super easy.
All of your dishes actually do this. And I really have been inspired lately to actually cook half the things that I learned on the show and then make them at home. So I'm going to make this. Let's get started. We're just adding.
Literally adding. So this isn't on. This is just on the stove, just because it's conveniently
situated.
situated.
For me to know.
But it's not on. We're literally just going to place all our veggies on the bottom. So that's the carrots, and roughly chopped however you want to, but evenly chopped. So if your carrots are a certain size, go for your potatoes a certain size, and same with the onions. So they're all going to cook evenly. If you get your carrots too small and your potatoes too big, then your carrots are going to overcook and your potatoes are going to undercook.
Is this going to be stewy?
No. No.
Oh, really?
So there's going to be a little bit of liquid in the bottom, which helps steam the roast. But effectively, it's a good typical roast chicken. The wetness on the bottom cooks the veg a little bit and then steams the chicken, but it's not there for a sauce. I mean, it tastes delicious at the end of it all.
Well, you better not mess up the traditional roast potato because that's basically the best thing in life.
No, it's delicious. No, I promise you. So some red onions, just because I love red onions, and I like the size of them. They're small. They're called small red onions, and they just fit perfectly with the size of veg that I was going for.
But then is somebody going to get a mouthful of onion then?
But it's cooked, and the thing with red onion. When it cooks, it gets sweet.
Okay.
So it's not that scary kind of like pungent onion that hits you in the face.
Let's do it.
It's sweet and delicious.
Good.
A little bit of garlic just sliced.
I can't have onion breath for Pharrell tonight.
So jealous I'm not going. Whole lot of time, lots and lots and lots of time with the sprigs on, because you're just going to sort of pick out the sprigs as you go or take the veggies just out. So you're good to go. Then the chicken. Do you want to take that out of the bag? A beautiful free-range chicken from Woolies. And
I did once roast a chicken and I forgot to take the bag out. I didn't realize that there was, but this one doesn't seem
come
to
with
have
the bag.
one.
No.
Okay.
So you're fine. You're
Good.
fine. Just be careful to sort of make sure you take the absorbent sheet out off the bottom.
Yes.
And then the chicken goes in.
Fabulous. And of course, all of our hands have been washed before we went live on TV. And I just plonk it in.
Plonk it in there. We're going to do
go.
breast side up, because that's sort of your presentation side. You want that to look beautiful.
I always believe that should be the only way up. Remember to cook with us. All you need to do is visit our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and of course we have the shopping list and the recipe ready for you to go with this delicious pot roast chicken.
So I've just popped in a little bit of white wine, just for some flavor and, like I said, some moisture to help steam the chicken. Then some chicken stock, just a little bit, probably about half a cup. And like, again, not too much liquid, just for steaming, just for a little bit of flavor. Then some olive oil, because olive oil is just going to glaze up that bird beautifully later, when what we do is we put it in the oven with the lid on. So at about 180 degrees, you're going to cook it for about 45 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes, just take the lid off and then let that get golden and crispy.
Delicious.
So that it looks like a roast bird.
This is so interesting that it's done like this. And, I mean, is it going to have that same flavor as a normal roast chicken?
Definitely, definitely. Just because I love some mustard, I'm not going to put that.
And is this something that you can slow cook as well? The slower you cook it, isn't it the better the flavour?
Typically with chicken, a whole bird, you don't really slow cook it so much, because it is quite a flavourful, succulent meat that you don't need to cook it to sort of tenderize the muscles. But
is that just normal mustard?
Just a Dijon mustard.
Okay.
And I'm just going to spread over the top here, just because I love mustard. Otherwise, you could add sort of your roast chicken spice or whatever you like to add on top there, just to sort of pump up the flavour a little bit. And then salt and pepper. Don't over season now. We can season again later, just to sort of get that going. And a little bit of pepper. And then, like I said, lid on, 45 minutes, and then take the lid off, last 15 minutes of cooking.
Fantastic. Okay, we're going to do that now. Lid on, and I'm going to stick it in the oven.
Yes, indeed.
It really is that easy. Claire, I love your recipes. Be sure to cook this. It's definitely looking very, very tasty so far. But for now, let's go and see who Bonnie has on the couch.
Thank you, ladies. At the age of 48, after 6 years of low-quality existence, which resulted in a massive heart attack in 2001, Stanley Henkerman successfully received a heart transplant. Since then, he hasn't looked back and is now the national chair of the South African Transplant Sports Association, but has also represented South Africa at 4 World Transplant Games in Australia, Sweden, South Africa and Argentina, respectively. The last 2 as national captain. Welcome, Stanley.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Oh, lovely to have you. Wow, what a life.
What a life, yes. I have to pinch myself sometimes.
Do you think all these things would have happened had you not had your heart attack?
No. No, I have to be honest with you. I would have been an ordinary person out there. And in a way, strange kind of way, the setback has put my life on a whole new trajectory.
That's incredible. What was your life like before the heart attack?
Before the heart attack, I was very active. I was a keen hiker. In fact, I had the heart attack on a hike. Wow. In the mountains.
So you'd say you were quite healthy?
I was. And like Mark said earlier, genetically predisposed, unfortunately.
Right. What does a heart attack feel like, and what should one do when they're experiencing one? How do you know that, okay, this is not just a pain, this is something serious?
When I got the pain initially, I didn't think that it was my heart. Wow. But when it persisted, and it felt like there was a vice grip, you know, holding me.
It feels like an elephant. It feels like an elephant is sitting on your chest.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it just won't let go. That's when I realized that this must be my heart. And fortunately, I had the good sense to phone, and I was within range of signal, phoned the ranger and said, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Wow.
And you almost had one.
Wow. What ran through your mind at the first thought of hearing that you needed a heart transplant? Was it immediate? Did it happen very quickly?
You know, 6 months after the attack, I was warned that if my health doesn't improve, because the heart was severely damaged, if it doesn't improve, a heart transplant is something I should consider. Let me tell you, nothing can ever prepare you for that. Wow. And I remember leaving the doctor's rooms and phoning my wife and crying and saying they want to take my heart out.
Sure.
Because the heart is not just this pump. You know, the heart is associated with so many things. The heart is you.
It's the engine of the body.
Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Now, you've then subsequently participated in the heart transplant games, and you've won them 4 times, and twice as captain. Tell us about that experience.
You know, I still can't believe that there's so much one can do after transplantation. And we have a very, very healthy and strong South African contingent that participates every year. In fact, in the last 2 games, we came 3rd. This was in Argentina. That was the 5 athletes who represented us in the march into the arena at opening ceremony. Wow. That's my bronze medal I got.
Well done.
I got 2 bronze medals. But it's an amazing experience to, number one, be able to represent your country. And particularly after you should have been dead.
Sure.
And so for us and for me personally, doing what I do is just to show how grateful I am to be alive, but also to encourage the rest of South Africa to live healthy lives. You know, I always say, do not let the episode happen. And I want to agree with Mark. Go and have yourself checked out. Check your cholesterol. You know, because once the episode happens, you're not the same anymore.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this of both of you. What are your relationships with your hearts now?
It's an interesting question. It's something which you're aware of all the time.
All the time.
You're aware of your mortality. But I think you speak to any heart attack survivor, you've mentioned it now as well. There are moments when you go, why did it happen to me? But there's just this overwhelming feeling of gratitude and this happiness of being alive. The fact that my heart is still beating, you have a heart that's beating, it's a wonderful thing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's what people take for granted until something goes wrong.
Wow.
You know, it's so important to have a good relationship with your heart.
With your heart,
And when you have a good relationship with somebody, you care for that person.
And that brings in so many factors, the spiritual, the emotional, the physical.
Absolutely. But you also need to have a good relationship. I have to have a relationship for my heart. And in that regard, I need to make sure that I live a healthy lifestyle, that I eat properly, that I exercise, but also that I take the medication that keeps me alive.
Yes, yes. Well, I'd love to chat with you more a little bit later about heart care and just taking better care of our bodies in general. Okay, after the break, we chat to Dr. Vash, the CEO of the Heart and Stroke Foundation, about what you can do to look after the health of your heart. And remember to enter our Go Green SMS competition if you haven't already. You have till midnight tonight to answer this week's question. All the information is available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Here's a reminder of that amazing grand prize. We'll be right back.
The Afternoon Express team is going green. Join us every Tuesday at 4 p.m. until September as we bring you the most innovative trends in sustainable fashion, food, decor and design, as well as handy tips to help you reduce your carbon footprint.
Answer our Go Green question every Tuesday and stand a chance to win a R1,000 Woolies gift card every week.
Plus, simply by entering, you also go into the big draw for the ultimate grand prize worth over R500,000.
Including a dream sustainable kitchen makeover from Cordev, fitted with Bosch appliances with R300,000. Also, up to R250,000 worth of home upgrades so you can live off the grid. Plus, food and homeware from Woolworths valued at R75,000. And a R25,000 towards a school of your choice with My School.
So, go big, go green with Afternoon Express every Tuesday at 4 p.m. to win these amazing prizes.
Willies and I collaborating to raise 100 million rand through the My School program. Are you with us?
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Heart and Stroke Foundation CEO Dr. Vash is a passionate advocate for healthy living and has recently been appointed as Vice President of the World Heart Federation and also serves on the committee for the World Health Organization. She is here to speak to us about Heart Awareness Month, which is September, and also living a heart-healthy lifestyle. Dr. Vash, a very warm welcome to our loft.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So Dr. Vash, let's talk about some of the crises we're facing in our country when it comes to heart disease.
Well, heart disease is the second leading cause of death in our country. In fact, it's the leading cause of death worldwide. And here, it's only because of HIV and AIDS that it's the second cause. Now, the real issue is that it's affecting our younger people. So we're seeing people in their 20s and 30s having heart attacks. And that, for us, is the big concern.
So has this been something new? Is this something that we're only experiencing in the last 5, 10 years of our existence? Or has this been, you know, part of our existence for centuries?
No, not at all. In fact, heart disease was known as a disease of an old person. It was an old man's disease. But over the last 10, 12 years, we've started seeing this trend. And it's as a result of our changing lifestyles. We're adopting unhealthy lifestyles. So now what we're seeing is that people in their younger ages are developing the
So
disease.
what constitutes an unhealthy lifestyle? What have we done in this sort of information age that has, you know, created this unhealthy lifestyle?
Well, you talk about information age. We sit at our desks most of the time. We drive around, we don't walk. So we're not active enough, physical inactivity, the sedentary lifestyle. And then on the other side of that coin is that we eat unhealthily. You know, too much of salt, too much of sugar, the bad fats, too much of the refined carbohydrates, and all of that come together. And then, of course, the context within which we live, stress, big factor, tobacco, big no-no for us. It's one of our biggest risk factors. And we drink too much of alcohol.
Yes. I was recently on the show, we had a whole discussion around how much alcohol we drink. Apparently, we almost have 5 billion litres of alcohol a year we're drinking as a nation. So I'm sure that does have a lot of effect. So there are a lot of factors involved with heart disease. What is the leading factor?
Well,
it's kind of hard to say, I suppose.
Not necessarily. We could probably identify the 3 top leading causes. One being hypertension as the biggest risk factor, and the cause of that is obesity levels in this country is very, very high. We have the dubious honor of being called one of the fattest nations in the world. Second fattest,
I'm not mistaken. And our females are...
Up to 70% of our females are overweight or obese.
Wow.
And, you know, that is a huge issue. So what that is doing is it's driving our hypertension levels, and that is driving more and more young people to have diseases. Then, of course, there is the fact that we have this transition. More people are becoming more socioeconomically active, and as a result, they're eating unhealthily as well. So
our lifestyles are fast-paced, getting fast food, etc.
The westernized lifestyle.
So let's talk about heart age. In many ways, the reason why we're seeing a lot of young people suffering from heart disease and heart attacks, obviously at a very, very young age, is because our hearts are getting older and older and being put under more pressure. They almost become tired and sick. What is a heart age, and how do we determine this?
Well, what you need to do is be assessed, so you need to have a screening, and that's what we're doing this September. We're asking people to go out there and get tested.
Is it free?
It's free, so you get your blood pressure, cholesterol,
Please
glucose
don't say the needles.
done.
Are the needles?
Well, tiny little needles, so, you know, you won't cry, I promise you. But it's, you know, you don't have to fast. You can just walk in and be tested. And then there's an app that we have on our website. You plug in your numbers, and it calculates your heart age. And it tells you what your heart age is versus your chronological age.
Wow.
And people would be surprised that their heart age tends to be older than their chronological age.
Is it possible to turn back that clock? Can we sort of turn that clock back? How do we do that?
Absolutely. Just by looking at your lifestyle. Of course, there are some people who have a family history, so they need to be extra careful about heart disease. But it's about those factors that we spoke about. What you eat, whether you're active or not, and of course, monitoring your risk factors and managing that.
So I feel already stressed. I feel like now I'm stressed, I must worry about my heart in some way. So what are some of the things that we can do to improve our lifestyles to make sure our heart remains young?
You know, we talk about small changes. So stress is one of those big ones. Meditate,
Don't stress about heart attacks, you won't get a heart attack.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably, but it's about what you eat. Be conscious, be aware of what it is you're eating and how you eat.
So what does your heart need? What does it need?
You know, your heart needs a balanced, in terms of nutrition, balanced meals, because it must be practical and fit into your lifestyle. You can't eat too much, that's the problem. You know, you go out there and you get these mega portions, and then of course there's the fizzy drinks. We all have these fizzy drinks that's actually very bad for you. Too much of sugar. Most people have heard about the fact that too much of sugar is bad for you, and we shouldn't be doing that.
And it's hidden sugars in a lot of the foods that we're eating.
Our processed foods tend to carry a lot of the hidden stuff, like the salt and the sugars. We don't know what's sitting in there. And so as a result, you eat it thinking you're safe, but not necessarily. And you're unable to monitor how much of the bad things you are having as well. And then, of course, being active. If you're a smoker, I say quit. You have to, unfortunately. You know, there's
How many years can that take off your life? How many years can smoking take off your life?
Smoking is the biggest risk factor. So if you're a smoker, you're probably adding somewhere between 5 to 7 years on your heart age. If you're a current smoker. The good news, though, is if you stop smoking, you can reverse that. And within a year, your risk can go down to almost the same risk of a non-smoker.
Wow, so just about taking that commitment to saying, I give up.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's talk a bit about Salt Watch.
Yes,
Tell me more.
absolutely. Salt Watch, well, salt is one of those, you know, nutrients that we talk about in terms of
cholesterol.
Too much of it is equal to high blood pressure.
High blood pressure, sorry, not cholesterol.
Okay, so yes, so, you know, salt, we all need some salt, but the problem is, like we spoke about processed foods, they contain too much of the hidden salt. So again, we're losing control of how much we're eating on a daily basis. So Salt Watch is linked, in fact, to legislation that the Department of Health has brought in to regulate the amount of salt that the food industry is putting into the processed foods. And linked to that, we are running an education campaign and an awareness campaign. We need people to understand, you know, food industry reduces salt in the food products, but it doesn't mean that at the table or when you're cooking, you know, you should
keep
be
adding more
the salt as well.
Very
so we
quick
need to train the taste buds.
Cool. Very quick one that I wanted to ask you. You've mentioned all of the risk factors involved, but how do we know if we are about to have a heart attack, or how do we know if we're at risk, if our heart is at risk?
Well, you need to be tested.
Process. Yeah,
you have to be tested.
That's the only way.
Because that will be able to tell you exactly what your risk is, and then you can manage that.
So you can't feel it the week before and then be like, oh.
You know, the problem with, for example, high blood pressure, and similar to a lot of diabetics as well, or even high cholesterol, you don't feel any symptoms.
True.
You may not feel any symptoms at all.
Until it happens.
Until it happens. You know, hypertension is called the silent killer for that reason. Because you feel absolutely nothing until, you know, a blood vessel pops in your brain and you have a stroke, or you may have a heart attack.
Life-shattering in many ways it can be.
Absolutely.
So go get screened is the big message. Use that and go and follow the hashtag, I think, in many ways, South Africa. If you want to have heart, and there's a hashtag that's running around, you can go and follow all the information about sort of heart health and awareness during this month of September. So Dr. Vash, thank you so much for joining us and sharing this important information. And I'm sure you're probably stressing at home and wondering, what happens if I'm having a heart attack? I need to change my lifestyle now. Well, we've got some tips and tricks for you in the kitchen.
Thank you so much, Danilo. Now, the Heart and Stroke Foundation encourages South Africans to eat healthier foods. Their main message is to eat better by eating more of the good stuff, less of the bad stuff, and to enjoy our food, but eat less to maintain a very healthy weight. Now, Gabriel is here, one of the head dietitians at the Heart and Stroke Foundation, and he's going to create us a meal from their latest cookbook to help us, you know, eat healthy, live healthier. How are you? Welcome to the kitchen. Welcome to the loft. I know why we're making this salad now, Gabriel, but I want to know why lentils. Let's start. What do we need? How do we get into it?
You know what? Lentils is a forgotten superfood almost. You know, we all often talk about superfoods. And lentils, lots of fiber. It's a plant source of protein. It's got plant iron in it, soluble fiber. It's just a good thing to have in general. And the nice thing about it is because it's got proteins and carbohydrates in it, if you use it as a base for a salad or a meal, like a light lunch or something like that, you don't need to add another protein or another carbohydrate. It's all in there. So then you just add some other stuff to flavor it, to give it some more taste, because it does need to pick up some flavors from somewhere else. And then you're pretty much ready to go.
Fantastic.
The trick with this one is it's really, really simple. And that's what we want to do, is show what is easy to do.
Right, what do we have there, carrots?
So we've got about three carrots, medium carrots grated. And what we want to do is show how you can make something that you can make into a meal. You can put it in a lunchbox.
Yeah.
You can have it with another meal.
Oh, so it's good for the kids as well. This is awesome.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So most of the recipes we're doing in the book is quite easy. The flavors are fairly basic, but you can add more things in as you go.
Fantastic. Some tomatoes there. It's looking good, by the way. I want to help you. Maybe let me do something, at least.
Yeah, so we're going to make a dressing in a second, and that's going to really give it some zestiness and give it some more flavour. The real trick with this is delicious. You can use tinned lentils, but what we do is we boil them up. And this sounds like a lot of effort, but that's the trick to the salad, is it keeps it crunchy. So your lentils have got a nice crunchy, nutty taste to it. When you're using the tinned ones, they're a little bit more mushy. They're still nice, they've still got flavour, but when they got that crunch to them, it's really delicious. Yeah. You've got to do the spinach, which is the bonus of that is because we're not cooking it, it's got more vitamin C.
Got you. But you can use lettuce or anything else,
you can.
Stunning.
I think the nice thing about spinach is because if you take it for a lunchbox, for instance, it doesn't go off, it doesn't get all, like droopy like your lettuce does. So that's a nice benefit of it. Okay. And it's got much more nutrients in it. Things like calcium, things like iron. So it's a nice thing to use instead sometimes. And it's nice to keep it raw sometimes as well. Okay. So we're just basically breaking it up a little bit. You can do it finer, you can do it bigger if you want to. But that should do it.
But I see you have salt here, Gabriel. Now, I mean, what's that? What's the dealio? What's the 411? Because there's a campaign running about our salt intake in the book, and of course with the Heart and Stroke Foundation. So explain that to me, please. Yeah,
so we're doing a lot of work to try and inform people that salt is, or too much salt at least, is not a good thing. And the link between salt is obviously with blood pressure. So we just did 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'll add some vinegar to it. And the problem is if we have too much salt, blood pressure, heart attack. So that's the link we're looking at. But that's not necessarily that we can't have salt. And what's interesting is...
We just have to be careful how much salt we have.
Yes, but half of the salt we have comes from our processed food. And the other half, or less than the other half, is what we add ourselves. So because we're doing fresh, there's no other salt, there's no other salty seasoning, we do need a little bit of salt. So we need about half a...
How much salt did you put in there? Just
I haven't put any yet. So this is a little bit of sugar, just to give it a little bit of spark, a little bit of sweetness. So we're going to put about 3 grinds in there, let's say about a 1/4 teaspoon. Yeah. The nice thing, what we do try and say with salt, is use a little bit, put it in, and then taste and see, do you actually need any more?
Got you.
And then you add more when you want to. If you're adding other seasoning, or if we added a salty ingredient like cured meat or something like that, we might not have needed to add salt. But because there's no salt in there yet, we've got to put something, we've got to season it a little bit.
But before I go, I mean, this obviously recipe comes from this incredible book from the Heart and Stroke Foundation, Cooking from the Heart. Tell me about some of the recipes we can expect.
So this is the second book we've done. This one we did with Pharma Dynamics, and they sponsored it for us. And it's essentially really easy stuff that we can do with our kids. This one is mainly light lunches, breakfast, as well as snacks, and things that you can do for your lunch boxes.
And then that's it?
Yeah.
And then the avo?
The avo comes in afterwards, This avo is really soft. Normally we'd cube it in, but because this is so soft, I'm just going to try and scoop a few out. I think it's soft anyway.
I'll have the rest if you don't want to,
I think I might need another spoon,
That looks delicious.
You know what, it really brings it, a little bit of vinegar gives it a bit of zestiness. You can also use lemon juice. If you want to do more of a Thai dish, you can change the dressing a bit, put some garlic, some ginger, some chili, stuff like that in.
That was so quick.
But we're just going to mix it up a little bit. And then it's perfect.
Fantastic.
And you can see how quick it is. You can do it for lunch. You can do it anytime.
I'm definitely going to try it. Thank you very much for coming through. And of course, if you want details on this recipe and that incredible cookbook, make sure that you log on to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Thank you very, very much. That looks delicious. I'm going to dig into that. While I do this, after the break, we get some easy cardiovascular exercise tips. So get those gym clothes ready. You're going to die. Stay tuned.
Any occasion, anytime. Nobody makes better tea than you and 5 Roses.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, what we've learned from our experts is that exercise is crucial to a healthy heart. We're now joined by another expert, pro trainer Bruce Benjamin, and he's going to show us some simple cardiovascular exercises that'll ensure that your heart is healthy and strong. And we've got Chad here as well. Hi, guys. Now, Bruce, I mean, running late is usually my cardio, but it is such a mission to find the time to be able to go running for 40 minutes or an hour. I mean, is that the only cardio we have to do? Please say
Gosh,
no.
I mean, there are several exercises we can do in the comfort of your living room. So if you're one of those individuals that can't get to gym, there are tons of, even the basic aerobic exercises one can perform in the smallest space to do an effective cardio
And this is enough
workout.
space to do
Absolutely,
cardio?
more than enough space, definitely. We get a whole group in here.
Because in my mind, cardio is running for hours.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely one type of cardio, but again, you know, if we take it back to, I'd say the 80s where the aerobic exercise was very in, that still sets the precedence for today for a very effective workout within the living room or the most confined space.
Another question. Cardio is important here because I like to try and exercise with doing as little cardio as possible, but that's not really working for me.
Especially in today's day and age where people don't get a chance to train as much, I think 20 minutes of an aerobic cardiovascular exercise is very effective for the heart first and foremost, and imperative just to keep the conditioning up and keep the heart nice and strong, like every other muscle. Yes. It is important to
Okay, get into it. Because I love cardio so much, I'm going to sit here and watch.
Okay.
Take it away, Bruce.
So again, once again, very, very basic exercises. We're not going to go too dynamic with the types of exercises we're doing today. So we're doing your very basic star jumps with a vertical raise, and we're going to go for 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, Bonang and I are jumping at any time of the day. It's called a star jump.
8, 9.
Is it good cardio?
1, definitely. Okay, we go side raises. Let's go for 10. Here we go. 1. And once again, we're incorporating the legs here as well. And the legs are the big movers of the body, so we get them into play and we elevate the heart rate quite a bit. And I think that's the 10 right there. The basic burpee for the beginner. Okay, so all the way down into the push. That's 1. Opposite side. All the way up. Let's go for the second one.
I mean, burpees really are quite a bit...
And again, you know, we've selected the exexercises based on the fact
It's hard work. I'm getting tired just watching you.
Anybody from the starting block or beginner in exercise will be able to do this as opposed to the other burpee as well. Okay, so we've got a side step and lunge, working on the legs now as well.
Totally.
And very basic. Step, left side, all the way up, center, and then right side. And again, I can hear a bit of heavy breathing taking place here.
Chad, you look fit.
Here we go, all the way up. Into the side, all the way up. And up. In between these exercises as well, you get these brief pauses where you can do your active recovery, which is this over here. So when it gets to aerobic exercise, instead of stopping, we can keep the heart rate nice and pumped and elevated. Perfect. We're just going to a lower level of exercise.
Excellent. How many hours of cardio a week would suffice?
For average person?
Yes.
About 20 minutes at most.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. I'm sure we can cover that on a Friday night with some of those movements as well.
Definitely. So
Thank you so much, Bruce, for coming through. Thank you so much, Chad, as well. I'm really inspired. Just watching you was definitely my cardio for the day. Now, as women, we know a lot about suffering for beauty, but looking good doesn't always have to be painful. Today's Scholl Footsie tip teaches us how to make smart choices when we hit the shops, so we can show off our feet in fabulous heels that we won't regret. Check it out.
There's nothing worse than buying new shoes only to discover they're a torture device on your feet. Here's a practical guide to help you choose shoes that won't cramp your style. Length. Your shoe should be approximately 1 centimeter longer than your foot to make sure your toes have room to move without rubbing. Make sure the shoe fits firmly around the heel to avoid unbalance. Width. The shoe should be snug on your foot at its widest point to prevent your shoe rubbing, so make sure there are no pressure points. If you can't wiggle your toes, the shoes are too tight. Depth. The upper should not push down on the top of your foot, especially at the tip. This kind of pressure can cause skin irritation, nail problems, and toe cramps. The depth of the shoe is right if you can flex your foot. Insole. It's important to choose a shoe with an anatomically shaped insole capable of supporting the arch of your foot at the right support points. If the insole of the shoe needs raising, try an insole. Upper. Whatever the material of the upper, make sure it's flexible and doesn't restrict foot movement. It's also important to consider its breathability so your feet don't overheat. Sole. The sole of the shoe should be lightweight and durable. Try to pick shoes that provide protection from stones or other objects on the ground that could hurt your feet. Fastening. Opt for shoes with laces, buckles or straps that you can adjust to comfortably fit the width of your foot and the ankle. Try it out. Always try on both shoes, as most people's feet are slightly different sizes, and pick the size that fits the bigger foot. Your foot widens when you put your body weight on it, so make sure you stand up. Finally, make sure you walk around in the shop with the shoes on for as long as possible. Even the softest material may not give you the right comfort when your feet are in motion.
Oh, there you have it, the secret to finding comfortable shoes. Now your shoes shopping is sorted. Don't miss the chance to win the ultimate summer vacation for two to Reunion Island. All you need to do is enter is first make sure your feet are ready for their moment in the spotlight with the Scholl Velvet Smooth electronic foot file. Then snap a footsie, that's a selfie of your feet looking velvet smooth, and enter via Twitter or Facebook using the hashtags #footsie, #afternoon express. Winning that island holiday of your dreams couldn't be easier. T's and C's apply, so please visit the Afternoon Express website for details.
From wild nature to clear blue lagoons, Reunion Island offers the traveller a unique adventure, exploring a diversity of landscapes and cultures in one exceptional environment. Classified as a World Heritage Site, Reunion Island's stunning landscape allows you to travel from a volcanic desert into a tropical forest, all in a day. Enjoying the harmony of the island, you can experience a variety of cultures and tastes, from Asian cuisine to Creole markets. Reunion is paradise found. To enter, take a snap of your feet looking velvet smooth and enter via Twitter or Facebook using the hashtags Footsie and Afternoon Express.
Scholl Velvet Smooth electronic foot file. Perfectly smooth skin after one use.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We're live right here on SABC3. Like we said, it is a motivational Monday, and today we're talking all things healthy hearts.
Yeah, and speaking of food, so earlier on I said to you gentlemen, how have you changed your eating habits and your lifestyles to accommodate this newfound opportunity to do it all right again?
Well, I think for both of us, we were leading healthy lifestyles, so we didn't have to change too much. But looking at this amazing chicken, probably what I would do is not eat the skin. It's small things you do that can make a big difference. Yeah.
Wow.
Even if you go for a burger, you have a bit of a cheat day. Just don't order the chips. You're already one step better off than you were before.
That's the best part, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The skin is the best part.
Clearly, banting is not for you.
No, it isn't. But you know, banting also has a few interesting things.
Yeah.
And if one do things in moderation, I mean, stay away from the fat. I mean, Professor Noakes, love you to bits, but it's not for me.
But it's not for you.
Very controversial, the banting. Very different views from everybody we've had. But we do have a caller, right, Jeannie G?
We do. We have Karen on the line. Hi, Karen. Welcome to Afternoon Express. What's your question or comment?
Hi, yes. My comment is just, I had my first 2 heart attacks in 2006.
Wow.
Which is also hereditary from my family side, but also, of course, smoking. And
you want to stop that right there.
Television. I was also in the television industry, so yes, we all know what that's about. Then in 2007, I had my 3rd one. Also stented, never stopped smoking. And then in 2013, I had a below knee amputation, which is also because of vascular disease and smoking. And then, yes, I'm honest, and then 8 weeks ago I had a bypass. And then for 6 weeks after that I had another heart attack, which they've used the last vessel now. So I think finally you find out that the smoking thing really doesn't work.
Wow. So no more smoking. How much were you smoking though? How much were you smoking?
I was smoking about 20 to 30 cigarettes a day.
From what age?
From about, I'm 44 now, so it's been 26 years.
Oh, Karen, and you're not ever going to touch another cigarette now in your life?
And you just don't, you don't see why it's important to stop now? After all this?
I have stopped. The thing is, when it happens to you, you actually don't realise what the doctors are saying. You don't believe it. Because it's just you know, if you've smoked so long, you just go, okay, oh, whatever, you know, and you get the porter to push you outside to have a cigarette.
Karen, I'm so sorry.
You're definitely a survivor, though. Yeah. Well done for fighting.
Yes,
fantastic.
But all I can say is please to everyone else, even if they don't think they've got a heart disease or vascular disease, is smoking really doesn't work. It really doesn't work. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are.
There we go. Well, Karen, thank you very much for sharing your story. We appreciate that. Have a wonderful week and stay healthy, all right? Keep surviving.
Yes, no, definitely. And out of the hospital.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Stay healthy.
Well, you heard what he said about the television industry.
I know. Okay. So, but you know, Karen's only 44 years old. I mean, there's so much life that she still has to live. Yeah. 44 is still so young.
Yeah. But Stanley, thank you very much for coming through and sharing your story. Mark as well, you're such an inspiration. What's happening? What is going on?
Can I dip the drumstick?
I'm going to carve the chicken, and I'll be sure to
make sure you tune in tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. In the first 15 minutes, we chat to controversial conservationist Bram Malhab all about rhino poaching. It's going to be very interesting and informative, and it's our 100th episode.
Yeah,
so we have a few surprises in store for you.
That's going to be exciting. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're back again tomorrow right here at 4 p.m. on SABC3. Thank you for while we eat. Stanley, thank you. Mark, thank you from myself, Bonnie and Jeannie. Have a wonderful Monday afternoon.
Have a wonderful day. Happy eating and enjoy Pharrell, Cape Town. Ciao.
Cheers for now.
Who would like the breast?
Me. Tomorrow on Afternoon Express, we celebrate our 100th episode, coinciding with World Rhino Day. We're joined by motivational speaker and conservationist Bram Malharbe, and we take a look at the documentary that exposes the brutal lion hunting industry.
Another feel-good